In question 5, we're being asked about clones. Specifically, which one of the following 5 statements is true about members of a clone? Clone being a term for a group of individuals who are genetically identical. So we have our 5 statements which you have to look at. Let's start with one, which is that members of a clone will always show identical features at maturity. Now what this statement is doing is mixing up features at maturity, i.e. the expressed phenotype at a particular time, with the genotype, i.e. the genetic identical nature of members of a clone. So since environmental factors can play a large part in the development of a phenotype, i.e. the features that you express at maturity, it's not necessarily the case that members of a clone will always show identical features. They may show some identical features, such as eye colour, whereas they may vary in other features, such as height or weight, as a result of environmental factors. Moving on to B, we're told that multiple births, such as twins, are always members of a clone. Well, we know this to be false. The only type of twins which are members of a clone would be monozygotic twins, i.e. twins which are formed from the same zygote, i.e. the same combination of father's sperm and mother's egg. Okay, so moving on to C, they are produced only during genetic engineering. Well, we know this to be false, since there are a number of twins, for instance, are an example of a naturally occurring clone, and also in the case of organisms that reproduce asexually, they can produce clones without the need for artificial genetic engineering. And moving on to D, they are the result of mutation. Well, since clones are talking about people who are, or individuals who are genetically identical, then mutation would deviate from that genetically identical nature, since mutation involves changes to DNA. We're talking about the DNA being the same, so they're certainly not the result of mutation. And finally, that brings us on to E. They contain identical DNA, and we can say this is true. This is what a clone means. So our answer is that E is correct, and we can say that that's our answer.